Today is going to be a good day, family. Welcome to the podcast. I am your host, Regina Lynn. On this podcast, we cultivate a safe space where we can confront uncomfortable conversations. In addition, we strive to create a world where every individual feels prepared, secure, and confident in the plans that they have for the future, knowing that they have provided clarity and peace of mind for themselves and their family. Let's get started in today's episode. Hello, family, and welcome back to the podcast. In today's episode, we're going to discuss when versus if. Now, where is that coming from? A lot of people ask, why did you start this podcast? What is the need for it? And if you look back in the very first video that we did in this season, the very first video that we made, it gave you a series of videos about when versus if. And that's actually when I started back in 2014 to 2019 to do those videos. And I actually did it way before then, but actually doing them over and trying to get it right per se. So I just put them all together and made it one big video so you all can see. So that was the first video where it started. So where did the when versus if come from? Well, the deal is this: we often hear people, and we've said it ourselves, and we often hear people say, if something happens. Listen, it's actually when something happens. And I think people say that because they don't want to say, when I die, then do this. They want to say, if something happens. However, in reality is we're all dying. Like, we're all dying and we're all going to die one day. Death is the end of life, and that's just the way it is. However, when you say if something happened, what you're doing it is because you don't want to say the D word per se. Your subconscious doesn't realize that's what you're doing, and your subconscious hears the word if. If means it could and it couldn't. But most likely, I don't want it to, so therefore it won't. That's not the case. And because you've given your subconscious the if terminology, it puts a barrier into you in the preparing stage. So you don't think that you have to prepare for death or emergencies or things of that nature. And so then when things happen, it seems so traumatic, a traumatic incident. And instead of you just pulling out the plan that you have sitting on the shelf, now you got to just think through this, think quick, make decisions, and try to okay, so what do I do now that I'm here in this space? So here on this podcast, we want you to always be preparing, or not always be preparing, but be in a state of preparation for if something happens. Yes, nobody wants to be in a traumatic incident or have something catastrophic happen. However, if there's a plan in place, it makes it easier for you to navigate that space if you're ever in the space. And it also helps your family navigate the space even if you cannot. That's where the when versus if come from. Just to try to change the mindset of be prepared, be in a state of preparation, in a prepared state, not only for you, but for your loved ones and your family members and your significant others. Just like when you are at work and you go on vacation, you like, okay, while I'm gone, here's all these things. You put a plan in place so the person that's going to be completing your task while you're gone, they can get everything done and get it all accomplished so that you can go on vacation and not come back to 2 weeks worth of work. And you're like, man, I should have never went on vacation because I still have to do those 2 weeks worth of work, when you could just get a plan together, have everything in place so that when the person that's doing all of your tasks while you're gone, they can get it done with no problems. And you can come back, you can go on vacation, relax, and you can come back not to this desk full of items that you have to complete. When you are receiving the information from the podcast and the future episodes that are to come, and we have a variety of topics that we will cover, being a subscriber to this particular podcast, it puts you in a space of preparation. You can come back here for various different topics and ideas, and we're going to interview subject matter experts, professionals in these fields. We're going to have a variety of guests on that that have had experiences where they weren't prepared. And so they'll share those ideals and things with you so that you can prepare your affairs and encourage your family members to get their affairs in order. And just be in a space where we can make sure that all of us are very happy and comfortable with the plans that we have put in place for ourselves, and giving peace of mind to our loved ones, our significant others, and people that we leave to take care of us when we can't take care of ourselves, or to handle our business and settle our affairs when we can't do it ourselves. That is so important. And I was talking to someone a couple of days ago, and we were talking about preparation and being prepared. I do believe that when you have a plan in place, it's easier for you to be at peace and have a peace of mind about whatever the situation is. Let's just say you're in a hospital and you can't speak for yourself. If you have a plan in place, you don't have to worry about, oh my goodness, who's going to take care of my children? Who's going to pick up the slack for my duties as a primary care provider for an adult that can't take care of themselves? How are my bills are going to get paid while I'm out? The money is going to be deposited to bank, but who's going to pay those bills? Is it set up on auto pay? It's so many things that we have to think of in being prepared for the expected and the unexpected. So here on this podcast, you can expect to gain a wealth of knowledge, hear of various experiences, and feel free to type in the chat or send us a message if you want to hear a certain thing, you want us to bring a particular guest on. We're definitely going to do that. Now, this season of the podcast is going to be different interviews and a lot of personal experiences and stories. Now, moving into the second season, that's when we're going to bring in, it's going to be a surprise. So subscribe, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you share so that you can get this information out to your family and friends, and then come back and see us for the rest of this season. And definitely when we enter into season 2, we have a surprise that we're getting together now. And when it comes out in season 2, it's going to be well worth it. And you're going to be exposed to information that most time isn't talked about. And when it's talked about, is so taboo. We're really excited about season 2. We just started season 1 and we're already planning and getting excited about season 2. So again, the bottom line from this podcast is knowing that erasing the if, replacing it with the when. And when you do that, get a plan together. And what we say here, have the conversation and then put it in writing. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Until next time, peace. Thank you for connecting with us on today's podcast. We are dedicated to helping families navigate life's most challenging moments, providing peace of mind for themselves and their loved ones. Until next time, hug yourself, love like you've never been hurt before, and straighten your crown. Peace.